Alright guys, hey, Roy here from Radiant Clean. We're doing a house wash here in Fishhawk, Florida. So right now I'm just going around and doing some protection. Make sure we cover all the outlets and stuff. Make sure these are covered. They don't like that there is a stranger in their yard. For these outlet covers and for covering Ring doorbells, I found that these shower caps work great because they have the elastic on them and they fit over them perfectly. So trying to put garbage bags or something like that over them, those work pretty well. I just have to pull the hose out all the way because it gets a kink at the end. So one of the first things we always try to do is make sure we're filling up with water before we do pretty much anything else. Just make sure we put out the signs and cones just so that, one, it's advertising because they've got our name and whatnot on there so neighbors can see what we're doing, but also helps keep the car from getting hit. Let's just do a quick inspection. There's mildew up on the top up there and over there. We're gonna do the driveway for them too. Crank that out while we're here. Apparently they got a letter from the HOA. It's really not that bad. I'm not quite sure. Oh, this side has some mildew, that's why. Oh, that's why. It's got some nice mildew on it. So, all right. Well, we're gonna be careful with some of these cracks in the plaster. So. All right, so the water's filling. We're gonna have to pay some extra attention to this section. But while the water's filling, we're gonna get the hoses pulled, and once those are pulled, we can get this cranked up and get this out of here. It's a nice cool morning here in Florida. It's only in the 60s, which is pretty rare, but it's supposed to get up into the 80s here shortly. So get this cranked out before it gets too warm. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty mildewy up there, so looks like some of that's starting to go away already. We're gonna let that sit for about 5 or 10 minutes and then come back and rinse that off. So we're using about a 1.5% mix of SH and water. So we may need to hit some of these really stubborn mildew and mold areas twice. So we'll see, but it should come off pretty well. See that mold and algae a little bit better now that it's dark, now that it's wet. We got some on the screen up there as well, so we're gonna hit that. Gotta get that peak up there. All right, let's see if we can get some of this stuff off here. We might need to let it soak a little bit longer. I need to hit it again. Alright guys, I didn't record it, but I hit the back with some stronger SH. We're gonna go back and rinse that in a minute. It's really stained back there, so I'm not sure we're gonna get that off the paint, but we'll take a look at it. Right now I'm just doing some post-treatment on the driveway. Get rid of some of these tannic stains. Kill some of the mold and mildew. That's one thing a lot of people are, will say, hey, I can do my own driveway. And you can, if you have a pressure washer. It's gonna take you a little bit longer. But what it will not do is post-treat. So unless you have bleach that you're gonna spray on it, a lot of people don't get up these stains. The other benefit of doing the post-treatment is it just inhibits the mold and mildew a little bit longer than if you didn't. So it actually will keep your concrete and pavers and whatnot looking a little bit brighter, longer. Help keep that mold from growing up as quickly, which saves you money in the long run because you don't have to do it as often. And it just brightens the cement so that once it activates with the sun, it really lightens it up a lot. Alright, what I'm doing there is just switching over to rinse. So I got about a minute or so of bleach in this line, and that'll help clean out the pump. Meanwhile, it's not going to waste the bleach, so I can treat the rest of this with what's left in the line. Rinsing out the pump is important because this SH is so corrosive that if it's sitting there inside the pump or the hoses, it's just going to eat away at everything. So those pumps aren't cheap. They're a couple $100, $300, and this one's lasted me so far, knock on wood, for about 7 months so far. But it's not unusual to have them go after 6 months if you're not taking care of them. So don't want to have to buy a new one right away. So we're trying to take care of the one we have. Make sure it's all rinsed out. Alright guys, just finishing up on this house wash. Walk through, show you how it looks.
It's still a little wet, but you can see we got all the mold and mildew off. I took a couple treatments. It was on there pretty good. And then had to use the soft wash system to hit the one section back here. It was very black and was not wanting to come off, but we got all that off. So it took a little more SH. So I think we hit it with about a 3%. Just in a couple of spots there where it was really bad. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but along the roof line there it was black, and now it is not. So that looks pretty good. There's zebra striping on the gutters, but that does not come off, nor does oxidation come off with a normal washing. So now we're just going to go through and take down our protection and then roll up the hoses. But it's looking a lot better. So, and we did their driveway for them. So that looks clean, and now the HOA can leave them alone. So, all right, guys, we'll wrap this up and we'll talk to you later. Bye.